Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. So we can recite the invocation to the Bhagavatam. Narayanam Namaskritam
Nityam Naranchaya
Narottam
Tam
Devim
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Vidhira.
Reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Shravyastevi, author.
Nastaprashu
Nastapeshu
Badrishu
apateshu
Nityam
nityam
Yam
bhagavati
Bhagavate
bhagavati
Bhagavati
Shloke
Sloke
Nirvartineshti.
by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact.
Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Oops. Did it again. Okay. So let's find where we are. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. We're going to continue with the session on Bhagavatam. I'd like to seek your good wishes and also your blessings so that we can dive into the nectar of chapters 7 to 10 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And please, in that way, we please the Bhagavatam itself, we please Srila Prabhupada, the author, we please our Guru Maharaj because he loved Bhagavatam and he wanted us to study Bhagavatam often.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And in that way, if we can please our Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada, then we will also be able to please the divine couple, Radha Krishna, Krishna Balaram and Gaunitai. The whole parampara will be happy. So let's just quickly revise the lesson. Indulekha, would you like to go through these?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Would you like to go through the lessons, the previous three, and then we can do the ones that you just sent me yesterday as well.
Okay, so now itself you want it?
Yeah, I think let's just remind us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Hare Krishna, everyone. So these are the lessons that we can take from Srimad Bhagavatam, the chapters that we are reading. So from Canto 1, Chapter 1, to always respect the spiritual master and ask questions in a submissive way. And from Chapter 2, Lord Shri Krishna is absolute truth and the ultimate goal of life. And Chapter 3, Krishna is the original Godhead who has unlimited expansions. Chapter 4, reading Bhagavatam will give more joy to the heart than any other scripture. Chapter 5, spiritual literatures leads us to bhakti and bring changes to our heart. And Chapter 6, by chanting the holy name of the Lord, we can cross over this material world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we won't go through them every time, but I think whilst the lessons are few, we can just keep reminding ourselves. I was also thinking we could just, we can just do a little brief overview so we know where we are. It's going to be, because of our time gaps of the weekend, we may sort of lose the flow a little bit. So the brief overview is that, the sages were meeting at Naimisharanya. They asked lots of questions to Sutta Goswami, which he answers. And then the third chapter talks about the different incarnations, 22 in number. And then he states that wonderful verse, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Krishna is the source of all the avatars. Then we got Narad Muni. Sutta Goswami explains about Narad Muni guiding Srila Vyasadeva to glorify Krishna because Vyasadeva was feeling a little bit despondent. And he also gives an account of his own life, if devotees recall. how he was a child when his mother passed away, and then he left home, meditated on Krishna, and got his realization or his vision immediately. But then the Lord disappeared. So it's good to just remind ourselves where we are. One more thing I thought we could do, because it just gets a little confusing a bit later on, but we'll try to keep a track of it. The conversations, the different levels of conversations going on. So the sages are talking to Sutta Goswami, and then Vyasadev and Narad Muni, there's a conversation between them two. And that's where we are at now, I think. So, and then Sutta takes over again. So this verse is the 10th verse of the chapter 7. So we're hoping to cover 7, 8, 9 today. 7, 8, 9, yeah. Atma Ramascha Muneyo Nigranta Piuru Brahmaye Kurvanti Haitukam Bhaktim Itam Bhuta Gunohari.
Sutta Goswami said, all different varieties of Atma Ramas, those who take pleasure in the Atma or spirit self, especially those established on the path of self-realization, though freed from all kinds of material bondage, desire to render unalloyed devotional service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls.
So we'll come across this verse while we're doing the overview, so I won't talk about that. The chapter's name is The Son of Drona Punished. Does anybody know the name of the son of Drona?
Ashwadama.
Good.
Yes.
Who said that?
His mother.
Okay, good. Thank you, Swati. So the first 7 verses describes Vyasadev's vision. So this is Sutta Goswami. He is inquired, he has been inquired from Shonak Rishi. What did Vyas do after Narad left? So we're back onto the conversation between the sages and Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami described that Vyas, whilst in meditation, had vision of the Supreme Lord. Of course, he's also the literal incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And in this Kali Yuga, our Vyas, because Vyas is actually a position, just like Indra is a position, Brahma is a position which is filled sometimes by, in the case of Vyas, sometimes by a highly elevated living entity. But in our case, this Srila Vyasadeva in our Yuga is actually Vishnu Tattva. He's an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Sutta described that Vyas, whilst in meditation, had vision of the Supreme Lord. He also saw the living entities suffering due to misidentification with this material body. Knowing that only devotional service can remove the suffering, he wrote the Bhagavatam for us. The next 4 verses, Shonak Rishi asks, so Sukadeva Goswami was already a liberated soul. Why did he take the trouble to study such a vast scripture as the Bhagavatam? And Sutta answers with the verse that we read, that verse number 10. Sutta answered that the Bhagavatam even purifies the liberated souls because the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including the liberated souls. If you just go back to it. All different varieties of Atma Ramas, those who take pleasure in the Atma. So they're already self-realized, especially those established, especially those established on the path of self-realization. Though they're freed from all kinds of material bondage, they desire to render unalloyed service unto the personality of Godhead. This means that the Lord possesses transcendental qualities and therefore can attract everyone, including liberated souls. So in the same way, Sukadeva Goswami, although liberated person, he was attracted to the Srimad Bhagavatam because it describes the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhagavatam is non-different from the Supreme Lord. Then from verses 12 to 20, Sutta Goswami describes the heinous activities of Ashwatthama. Sutta Goswami answers the question regarding the activities and deliverance of Parikshit. So this was a question he was asked in the previous chapter. And Sutta Goswami explains, at the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, to exact revenge for the killing of the sons of Dhritarashtra, Ashwatthama beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi. Duryodhana, however, did not approve of this heinous act. So actually Ashwatthama took the heads of the 5 sons to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana was on the floor struggling, about to die. But when he saw what Ashwatthama did, he actually was not pleased, because he was a Kshatriya. And this was a cowardly act, killing the children, unarmed while they were sleeping. Arjun pacified Draupadi, because she was completely devastated, as you can imagine. We can't even imagine what must be going through the mind of Draupadi, who was the mother of the children. So Arjun pacified her. We will catch Ashwatthama and we will deal with him. Krishna and Arjun, they chased after Ashwatthama, who was running from them and was very scared. And he also knew how to discharge a nuclear weapon, Brahmastra. These weapons were very sophisticated. They're not like common day weapons which cause mass destruction, although they could. But these weapons, they could hit a certain target, but be very, very devastating. So he threw one towards Arjun, but he didn't know how to withdraw it. Dronacharya hadn't taught him that. So when Arjun saw, when a glaring light spread in all directions, Arjun became scared. It was very devastating to look at this. And he prayed to the Lord for protection, because he was bewildered. He didn't know what to do, because this sort of weapon is not released often. So Krishna advised him, you also have the Brahmastra, and you can counteract this with your Brahmastra. So Arjun also threw his Brahmastra, and when the Brahmastras combined, there was such a great circle of fire covering outer space and all the planets. It actually threatened to destroy the universe. These weapons are not light-hearted. They're quite strong. They're very, very strong weapons. Ashwatthama didn't know how to retract. So Arjun again asked permission from Krishna. What do I do? He asked guidance. And Krishna advised him, retract both the Brahmastras. You have the knowledge. You have the know-how. So he did that. After doing that, he arrested Ashwatthama, binded him with ropes like an animal. Then Arjun was tested by Krishna. Krishna said to Arjun, don't show him any mercy. He's the killer of your children. However, Arjun didn't like the idea of killing the son of their teacher, Dronacharya. So Arjun passed the test. Krishna was testing him by saying to him, just kill Ashwatthama, don't show him any mercy. But Ashwatthama was no ordinary person. He was a son of their guru. So Arjun didn't kill him. Returning back to the camp, they presented Ashwatthama before Draupadi. Draupadi could not tolerate Ashwatthama being bound by ropes and requested that he be released. She did not want to make the wife of Dronacharya cry like she cried for the death of her sons. This is actually very open-hearted. because you would have thought Draupadi, especially coming out of fire, would be seeking revenge. But she was very compassionate. She said, release him. I don't want my Dronacharya's wife to cry like I cried. That's quite extraordinary. This is Arjun here. And there's Bhim probably. Oh no, that's Arjun, yeah. Bhim. That's Bhim, yeah, the big fellow. Ready to kill. Ready to kill. And there's Draupadi.
Draupadi starts Bhim to kill Ashwatthama.
Yes, you're right. Good boy.
Even her sons are killed.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Good boy. Well done. Where did you learn that?
My mother told Prabhuji.
Your mother is a fountain of all knowledge. Very good. So then, Yudhishthira supported the statements of Draupadi, as did everybody in the arena, except one person. Who didn't support? Bhim. Bhim is always angry. He was extremely angry in this situation. So Krishna told Arjun to act in such a way that he can satisfy both Draupadi and also Bhim. So Bhim wanted to kill him and Draupadi wanted him released. So how do you compromise that situation? How do you find a compromise? That's two extremes. But Arjun, very clever. He could understand Krishna's language and the motive. And so with his sword, he severed the hair of Ashwatthama. And when you sever the hair, you effectively killing that person because you're putting them to great shame. Same thing that was done by who? Do you remember? By Krishna to somebody. Anybody remember to whom? Who did shave head? Jayadratha, right? Yeah, that was actually Arjun. Again. Oh no, Bhim, that was Bhim.
Oh,
but who
was Rukmin.
Yeah, well done, well done. Fantastic. Indulekha Baji, you were on the ball, huh? You've done
Prabhuji, by the time I put me on mute, somebody's answered already. So
no, you got it. You got it.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
So he severed the hair and then he took the jewel from Ashwatthama. The Ashwatthama had a jewel on his forehead, which actually gave him immense power. Ashwatthama is actually he's still alive, still somewhere in the Himalayas. And funny enough, he's going to be the next Vyas, which I find a little hard to comprehend. But anyway, so Arjun then drove him out of the camp, unbound. So that's the end of chapter 7. Chapter 8, we can recite this verse, number 26. Janmeshwara Shruta Shribir Idamana Madapumam Naivahati Api Datum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. Does anybody know this verse as a matter of interest? Guru Maharaj used to quote this verse very often. Yeah, you know it, right? You say it.
Janmaishwarya Shritashi Idamana Pudapuman Naivartya Datum Vai Tvam Akinchana Gocharam.
Good boy. Well done. Well done. Do you want to read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. My Lord, your Lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially thirsted and who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and beautiful body. Bodily beautiful cannot approach you you with sincere feeling.
Very good boy. Thank you very much, Riyansh. Okay, so again, this slok will be explained within the, it's such an important slok. It'll be explained within the overview. So this chapter is entitled Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit Saved. Krishna consoles the Pandavas, and they, desiring to deliver water to dead relatives, went to the Ganga with Draupadi, together with Krishna. And this is actually part of the Shraddh, when the soul leaves the body. For 11 days, one gives water, one offers water. Citing the stringent laws of the Almighty and their reactions upon living beings, Krishna and the sages pacified those who are shocked and affected. After causing 3 well-performed Ashwamedha sacrifices to be conducted by Yudhishthira Maharaj, Lord Krishna then prepared for his departure for Dwarka. So he was going to leave them. He'd been with them for months. He just fought a big war with them, and he was going to leave them. So what happened was, while he was thinking of departing, at that time, the pregnant Uttara. Who was Uttara? Who was Uttara?
The wife of Abhimanyu.
Yes, good. Good. Do you remember?
And Abhimanyu died in Chakravyuha.
Yes, yes.
And his son Parikshit had ruled.
Yes, good. Do you remember the father and mother of Uttara? This is a little hard question. Even I don't remember. Forget it. They were the ones who sheltered the Pandavas for 1 year.
Virat, yes.
Yes, that's right, isn't it? That's right. Virat, yes.
Virat and Sudeshna. His
Sudeshna,
name.
well
Very
done.
good.
Who said that? Oh,
Swati.
Swati. Yeah.
First
Well,
I had to Virat.
you're living in the land of where this all happened. So well done. It's very good. At that time, the pregnant Uttara came running towards Krishna in fear, begging to be protected from a fiery iron arrow. That was another Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama again, coming towards her. Krishna immediately invoked his Sudarshan Chakra to protect them both. That weapon was neutralized and foiled by the strength of Krishna.
Raji, can I tell? Krishna had entered into Uttarakhand and saved the Parikshit Maharaj.
That's right. He entered into
And there is a shloka.
There's what?
A slok.
Yes, there is. You know it?
I don't know.
No problem. So what happened was, Parikshit was looking and he was seeing this incredible form, 4-handed form of the Lord. He was keeping that weapon away from Parikshit. So he saved his life. Parikshit was amazed. And for the whole of his rest of his life, he was looking for this person. And that's why he's called Parikshit. Parikshit means examine. He was examining everybody he'd meet. He'd examine them. Is he the person who saved me? Quite extraordinary. Okay, then the next section is Queen Kunti's prayers. Thus again, saved by the Lord, Queen Kunti glorified the wonderful qualities of Krishna, wishing that calamities would come again and again, because in that way they can see Krishna again and again, thus avoid repeated birth and death. That's one of her prayers, right? Very famous prayer. My dear Lord, let calamities come again and again so I can always remember you. Of course, in this age, we don't have to ask Krishna for calamities. They're coming anyway. They come automatically. It's the age of Kali. And even if we did ask, I'm not sure if we can handle it. But this was the mood of Queen Kunti. Let I always be in a state of distress, because then I will always remember you. It's a very highly elevated thought process. devotee thought process. And then this very phenomenal verse which she speaks. Krishna is easily approached by those who are materially exhausted. We've got bad health, got hardly any money. That person takes shelter of Krishna. He's got no friends, no relatives. He takes shelter of Krishna, and it's very easy for him to approach Krishna. Rather than those who are on the path of material progress, wanting wealth, education, strength, and beauty, they cannot approach you sincerely. They cannot approach the Lord sincerely. And I love this last bit. The Lord is the property of one who has no other shelter. It's very powerful. These prayers are so, so powerful. So I hope devotees managed to read these chapters. If you haven't, please make an attempt to read them tonight, if possible, or tomorrow. Especially Queen Kunti's prayers. They were so important. Prabhupada ordered the disciples to make a book just of these prayers. And we distribute those books all the time. Yeah, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Queen Kunti glorifies the Lord. Although the Lord is inactive, he takes birth to please the Yadus. He appears in this world to rejuvenate bhakti. Those who are constantly hearing, chanting, repeating his transcendental activities will see his lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. So that's why we chant all the time. We read his wonderful nectarian pastimes. So we will see his lotus feet and stop our samsara, this birth and death, birth and death. Her prayers continue. These are glorious prayers, truly glorious prayers. Queen Kunti said, "O Lord, you are leaving us today, although we are completely dependent on your mercy, have no other protection. Our kingdom is marked by impressions of your lotus feet, and it appears beautiful, but when you leave, it will no longer be so." But look at the next prayer. This is incorrect. This is life-changing. Please sever my ties of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis, so that my attraction be forever drawn to you without being diverted to anyone else. Now, if we think about this, who were the Pandavas? They were pure devotees of the Lord. Yudhishthira was Dharamraj. Arjun was Indra. Bhim was incarnation of Vayu. They were pure devotees. Sahadev was the most beautiful. Sahadev and Nakul, most intelligent. Yet, she wanted Krishna to cut her ties with her own children who are pure devotees. This is life-changing. You know, we struggle, of course, in this world with affection, attachments. But here Kunti is saying to the Lord, just sever my connections. So even if they're devotees, sever my connection. That's really powerful. Why? So that it's one-pointed attention to Krishna, nobody else. So of course, sometimes Krishna very kindly acts and destroys those ties of affection himself. For Prabhupada, for example, he destroyed those ties. Prabhupada then went to Vrindavan. And thank goodness he came to the West, because if he hadn't come, we wouldn't be here. So Krishna is very kind. So sometimes we may see our relationships with our relatives or friends may be somewhat hampered, and we might be lamenting about that. But actually we should see it as the mercy of the Lord. It's the arrangement of the Lord. It's the kindness of the Lord. If those ties can be severed by the Lord, much easier for us, because we will find it very hard to sever those ties. That's why Kunti is saying, please sever my ties of affection from my kinsman. Very powerful. Okay, so I would urge everybody to read these prayers. They will definitely put us in a different level of consciousness. Then Yudhishthira was lamenting. Upon preparing to leave, the Supreme Lord Krishna was lovingly stopped by King Yudhishthira, overwhelmed by the death of his friends and relatives. He said to the Supreme Lord that this body, which is ultimately meant for others, has killed many, many men. And even if Yudhishthira lived for millions of years, he will not be able to be relieved from the hell that awaits him. So this was true humility. He was really feeling that he was a wretched person, sinful person. Oh, this is the prayers. This is Queen Kunti begging the Lord, don't go. And then, okay, that's the end of chapter 8. Chapter 8 of Canto 1 is quite a chapter. So, chapter 9, text 39. Let's see if we can do this one. Vijayarata kutumba katatrotre hitaya rashmini chat shiye shaniya Bhagavati ratir astu me mumushur Yamiha nirikshya hatagata swarupam.
At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction be to Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate my mind upon the chariot driver of Arjun, who stood with a whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjun's chariot by all means. Those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained their original forms after death.
Anybody know who might have said this prayer? Or who said this prayer, definitely? Who do you think said this?
Is it Bhisma Pitama?
In Duleka Mother, you get 100%. Absolutely.
She's read the
Thank you very much.
And it looks like nobody has read. That's okay. It's optional. It's always optional. But it will help. It will definitely help in understanding. And it also show Krishna we're serious about our studies. And then we make the effort, Krishna's mercy flows, right? The passing away of Bhishma Dev in presence of Lord Krishna. So this is the name of the chapter. The Pandavas approach Bhishma with Lord Krishna. Yudhishthira went to the scene of the battle of Kurukshetra. So they managed to stop Krishna from leaving. Yudhishthira pleaded to him. A few more days. Pleaded with him, please stay and help me. And he did. There, Bhishma was lying on the bed made of arrows, about to pass away. Seeing Bhishma lying on the ground like a fallen demigod from the sky, Yudhishthira, his brothers, and Krishna bowed down before him. Many great sages from all over the universe also arrived there to see the departure of Bhishma, who greeted them all. This must be one incredible sight. This is the bed of arrows. Bhishma, the greatest warrior at that time, had been defeated by Arjun. And he hadn't died because he could choose the moment he leaves his body. He was so powerful. And even though he had all these arrows going through, he did not die. He could choose when he wanted to die. And there's Lord Krishna. The Pandavas are there all around him. And he was very, very affectionate to the Pandavas. And he knew who Krishna was. Extraordinary person. Krishna's plan. Bhishma tearfully spoke to Yudhishthira that even though they were great souls, sons of religion, and even though Krishna, their well-wisher, was present, still they had to suffer so much injustice. No one can know the plan of Krishna, even though philosophers inquire exhaustively. So we have to accept the inconceivable plan of the Lord. So he advised to become. So then Bhishma advised Yudhishthira in many topics. He advised him to become the head of state, because Yudhishthira was feeling totally unqualified. But Bhishma encouraged him to take care of the subjects. The next few verses is Bhishma glorifying Krishna. Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead, and is the first Narayan, the supreme enjoyer. Out of ignorance, he is accepted as material cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc. But he is a supreme personality who releases the devotee from bondage at the time of death. Please kindly, and he's praying to Krishna, await me at the moment when I leave my body. So he's asking Krishna, please wait until I leave my body. Bhishma then instructs Arjuna. He defines the castes and the orders of life in terms of individual qualifications. We'll go through those later on in the Bhagavatam. He explains the act of charity, activities of a king, activities for salvation, duties of women and devotees. Not in any detail, but these do come later on. Then he stopped speaking, withdrew his mind, fixed his eyes onto the personality of Godhead who stood before him. By pure meditation, looking at Krishna, he at once was freed from all material inauspiciousness and was relieved of all bodily pains. And he prayed to the Lord as follows: let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which was so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Krishna. He is my ultimate destination. On the battlefield, he charged me as if angry. At this moment of my death, let my ultimate attraction be to Krishna. This is the famous time in the battle. Krishna had promised, I will not fight, but he broke his own promise to fulfill the desire of Bhishma to see Krishna in this ferocious Parthasati form. And he came to him with this will, ready to kill. And here's Arjuna stopping him. No, my lord, don't do it. You made a promise. Please, I will fight harder. I will kill Bhishma. So I wanted to stop there. Madhusudan Prabhu, would you like to share your experiences?
Hey, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hari Bol. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. And all glories to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna here, ready to fight with Bhishma. But he had picked up this chariot wheel, you know. And amazingly, you know, Krishna somehow makes promises, but how he breaks or he does it with his own will is difficult to comprehend. But that shows, you know, Krishna is very independent and he can choose to do what he wants to. But amazingly, Srimad Bhagavatam in all these pastimes are quite interesting because there is, you know, Aswathama releasing his Brahmastra, then he is performing this infantile, which is like killing children, 5 children, to please Duryodhana. And obviously Duryodhana is not pleased. and then he has to be dealt with by Arjuna, and Arjuna then makes a promise that I'll go and get him and deliver the head to Draupadi, and then you can stand on him, bathe and all that. But then that is resolved by Draupadi's reaction, don't want to be killing a son of a mother, and mother will be very repentant and be sorrowful as well, like me. Amazingly, Ashwatthama's power was in that jewel. So when he loses that power, he still, but then again, he releases the Brahmastra again to target Parikshit. He just wanted to finish off the dynasty of, or the progeny, or the succession of the Pandavas. But Krishna can become bigger than the biggest and smaller than the smallest. And in this case, he's smaller than within the womb, and he protects, and he takes all that force of the Brahmastra. So it's amazing, how Krishna can protect in that way, and Maharaj Parikshit is protected that way. But Ashwatthama, like you mentioned, he's still around. He's been banished for eternity, so whether, as long as this Kali Yuga and everything lasts, to see all the civilizations or time come and go, and sufferings come and go, and he's still around, he's got to go through the sufferings of the material pangs, in suffering. But yeah, so he's still around, Ashwatthama, and then obviously Kunti's prayers are very, very important. Even though, Krishna has looked after them, protected them, but, in that same mood, we have to try and pray in these difficult times. That's all we can do, is pray. And praying is one of those things that can make us deal with the material sufferings that are there, at least, and help others as well. But at the same time, we need to make progress towards, a spiritual life. So, and then this Srimad Bhagavatam, although you said earlier on that mantra, that verse, whether this Bhagavatam is meant for the liberated souls, they relish these pastimes, and it's to even liberate and help them in their spiritual progress, although they're liberated. But ordinary people like us, only we can hear it, and bhakti can sprout within us as well by listening and hearing to all these pastimes. So it's a wonderful opportunity for all of us to relish this pastime. And I think Rian knows more than me, and he's full of knowledge. He knows the verses as well, and it's wonderful to know young people, people like this. So when he grows up, he'll be amazing, amazing. So it's wonderful, and this platform is helping all of us to recount. But you're coming to a stage where even Yudhishthir's prayers, when he realizes that although he's got to suffer for the reactions of all the on the battlefield, so many phalanxes were killed, and so many soldiers and mothers. So there's sinful reaction of that. So he's still concerned, although he's Dharmaraj. So it just shows that, within this material world, Dharma is always under attack, Nobody wants to follow the dharmic principles. And even right now, we got this demoniac atmosphere. And it's always, within this material, there's always a battle between the demons and the devotees, and all that is always there. And Srimad Bhagavatam will reveal more and more of that. And somehow Krishna is having to intervene all the time. And as it says in the Bhagavad Gita, that, I come to protect my devotees and to, miscreants, deal with the miscreants. So here he is dealing with miscreants. And yeah, wonderful. But you should all, read the prayers of Queen Kunti. that will be nice. And Prabhupada's purports are also very, very powerful in all these contexts. But once this part finished, in Bhishma Dev, amazing personality. He can choose to leave his body when he wants to, and all this suffering, which just shows, that he's beyond the body. He's living on the life airs within his own body, and then at the right time, with Krishna in front of him, and he merges his mind, his feelings, he doesn't merge into the body of Krishna. He is on par, like, with his mind and intelligence and everything in line with Krishna, and then he leaves his body. So, but with Krishna in front, so he chose the right moment, and this teaches us that when we have to live, whether we'll be able to or not, but we should think of at least Krishna and chant at that time. And as Krishna says, in Bhagavad Gita, that, those who think of me at the time of that come to me for definitely. So that's my realizations, but it's nice that you covered all this in a short way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So is there any questions, what we've covered today, or even in the last 2 sessions? Indulekha?
Hare Krishna. I have a little comment.
Sure.
If you don't mind. Yeah.
Oh.
So this Bhishma Dev prayer is really very nice also, because before leaving his body, he has his stuti, right? And he's praying to Krishna, and Krishna is not talking to him, but through eye contact, Krishna is asking question. Mm-hmm. And here, the first word that he said, Bhishma Pitama, he said, he did Sadaiva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam. He's stopping the load. Stop here, wait for me. And then Krishna is asking for how long? How long? By eye contact. And then Bhishma Pitama said, Kalivaram ya vidinin dino naham. Until I leave this Kalivaram, this body, please you stay there. And then Krishna asked, how do you want me to stand in front of you? And he says, Prasanna Hasa. Prasanna Hasa means like your laughing mood, beautiful laughing mood, and stay in front of me. So this is really very nice. I really love this pastime of Bhishma. And it's a long prayer, very nice prayer that Bhishma Pitama is offering to Krishna. And Krishna stands there. Krishna listens to him because he's a very great devotee of the Lord. Right?
Very nice.
Also, as we say, that Bhishma Pitama was fighting against Krishna. It's not that because some people say he has eaten the anna of Duryodhana, that he owes to Duryodhana, that's why he's on his side. There is one thing, because he promised to protect whoever sits on the throne. That is one thing. But the second thing is, that's through the arrangement of Krishna, because Krishna sees that Bhishma Pitama is the only person that he can have a Virya Ras fight with. Bhishma Pitama was very capable of fighting against Krishna. Krishna was enjoying it. He was not like in any pain or anything. He was enjoying because he wanted this rasa. That's why Bhishma Pitama was fighting against.
There would have been no Gita if Bhishma Pitama wasn't on the other side.
Yeah.
That's right. And
also, when Duryodhana was lying down waiting for his death, he was cursed by a sage saying that the time you have harsha and shoka, happiness and distress at the same time. So harsha was that he was happy because Aswatthama said, I've cut the head of the 5 Pandavas. But then when he held the head in his hand, he said, I would know. This Bhima head is like iron, I would know. And when he started squishing them in his hand, he said, no, these are the sons of the Pandavas. Yeah. So then he got shoka. Then he left his body. Harsha and shoka both.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Very nice, Mataji.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to share or ask a question? In terms of, are we going too fast, too slow, or is it okay? How do devotees feel? Do 3 sessions now.
I think it's okay so far. At the pace. It's a lot to cover.
Aruna, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's what I read and then I recap it. But this is the first time, so maybe I have to read it again.
Yeah, are you managing to read?
Yeah.
Oh, you are. Okay, first time, huh?
First time, yeah.
Fantastic. Wow, that's really good.
3 chapters ahead, which I want to pick
Very
up.
good. Very good. Very good.
After that, I read it, it comes back to me when we go through it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you. And Lee, are you managing to read the chapters at all? Oh, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. No, I'm still reading this commentary, The End of Sorrow, on the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, okay. Yes. That's fine. That's fine.
It's about 1,000 pages, so it's going to take some time.
Okay. No worries. Okay. Thank you. Any questions, Lee?
No. It's very interesting.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah. No, it is. This is amazing scripture. Wanted to check, Vaishaki, how about you? How are you finding these sessions? Is it a little too fast?
No, Prabhu, it's not fast, but I'm a little bit behind. I have started reading first Canto, and I'm on chapter 2 now.
Okay.
So maybe I'll slowly cope up with where we are.
Yes. Well, no, it's okay. Are you reading the purports as well?
Yeah, I'm reading purport as well. Yeah.
Yes, then it will take time because especially chapter 1 and 2 are Prabhupada has put a lot in those purports.
Yeah, long purport. Yeah.
Long purports, but they've got everything in it because he didn't want to take a chance.
Yeah.
Because, he was in India at that time, Bharat, and he was thinking, well, in case I can't finish the rest of the Bhagavatam, I'm going to put everything into this one. Yeah.
No, it is interesting. Yeah.
Okay. I think
Prabhu, can I have a request? You know those 2 devotees, Anjali and Anil?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So they are, one is from Toronto, one is from Alberta. So they have different time zone.
Yeah.
And they both of them are working, so they would like to join for the weekend. Is it possible to add their name?
Yeah. If you, I've added Anil already. And
okay.
If you send me the lady's name,
okay.
Anju, was it?
Anjali, and we call her Anju. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you send me her number, I can add her to the group.
Yes, please, because they were really very appreciative of what they heard. And they say, Mataji, why don't we all join? So I say, okay, I will ask and we will add your names.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so they're very happy. So, yeah. But one thing is they're non-devotees. Now they're trying to be devotees. So slowly we might get them in. Okay.
Well done for cultivating them. They're very nice.
They are very nice. Yeah, I have got like 5, 6 of them who are very regular, and they're very enthusiastic. And so we just read, and they're happy.
Brilliant.
They're happy.
Yeah, well
and
done.
I used to make them chant 1 round after we finish, and on the finger. Now I see everybody has got bead bags.
That's success.
One even bought a set of Bhagavatam.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yes, for this marathon. Recently we had for Bhaktivinoda Thakur appearance, I think, Kudi's appearance. We had this marathon.
Okay.
Bhadra campaign. So, yes. Okay. So, thank you, Bauji. I will send her phone number.
Yeah, that's fine. And Geeta?
Yeah, Prabhu, I was just going to ask you, so even me, I'm still behind. I'm on chapter 2 at the moment of the first canto.
Yes.
First part. So what do you do? Because I don't have the second part. So is there anywhere
It's
online?
online. It's online.
Online.
I'll
Okay.
send you the link.
Oh, thank you. That would be great.
Yeah. Good. Very good. So you've just started reading and you're on chapter 2.
Yeah. It's only because where I missed a few sessions last week. So I just start. So slowly I'll catch up.
And actually, what I'm recommending at this moment in time is for you to read the translations. So not the purports necessarily, because that will take time.
Okay.
If you want to catch up with us, read the translations. It'll take about 15 minutes per chapter.
Okay.
So then you will be able to catch up. And I think when we do it, when you've caught up and we're doing it together, you may also find it a little bit more beneficial. You can we will always go back and do the purports in time. But because we're doing an overview, we won't have time to go through purports.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. I'm very happy that devotees are actually reading the Bhagavatam. So congratulations to Aruna, Vaishakhi and Geeta. I think also Karuna Bandar is also, you reading Karuna Bandar?
Yes, Prabhu, I am.
Very good. And is also Chitra, is she also reading, your daughter?
She is also reading.
Fantastic. My goodness. I feel happy. Because this is the whole idea. This is the whole idea, isn't it? For devotees to read, and especially starting on this month. Yeah. No, thank you so much. Fantastic.
Can I tell Kunti Pradana?
Can you do it tomorrow? Yeah, we can do it tomorrow.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Because we're a little out of time, and you should be in bed because it's at least 9:30. 9:30 now.
He's waiting for you, Prabhu, to read the shlokas because everyone is
okay,
starting.
go on then. I hope devotee's got time. Go for it, Rianch.
Kuntyocha namaste putshyam tatyam Ishwaram prakrite param laksham sarva bhutanam sarvahiravasthitam Krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nandagopakumaraya govindaya namo namah pankajanaಭaya namah pankajamaline namah pankajanetraya namaste pankajangraye जन्मैश्वर्यश्रुता श्रीवे इदमान पुरप्पुमान नैवार्त्यविता तुम्वै त्वमकिंचन गोचरम्.
Well done. How many sloks is that?
4 sloks.
4 sloks. Okay. Well done. Very good boy. So Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So let's.
And Prabhuji, I am doing now chanting.
Very good boy. Very good boy. Oops. Let me just get that back. So let's do the Nashinga Kavach. And let me do one more thing.